There are some dark pages in the history of the white men's dealings with the Indians, and many parts of the record are stained with the greed and avarice of those who have thought only of their own profit. There are some dark pages in the history of the white men's dealings with the Indians, and many parts of the record are stained with the greed and avarice of those who have thought only of their own profit.
Wake up!
Yo, GM, BM, hello everyone.
Hello.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I have 3 ladies with me. Hey. How are you?
Good. It's been
Nice to see you again.
it's been a while.
Not visually, but at least I can hear your voices. So hello everyone, welcome to another stream. Today we're going to discuss this reveal process, which will begin, as far as I know, next week. There is a thread on the Honeyjar website. We are going through it, and if you have some feedback, if you have questions, don't hesitate to ask them here on stream or on Twitter. That should be like a community call, like a discussion. We should have feedbacks and opinions, so everyone's welcome to have a feedback. First of all, before we start, I would like to say thank you to everyone because we've been through dark times, difficult times here on Berachain. The price isn't that good, and we had also some difficulties with community members. Some left and some had enough. Some rugged us. Yeah, it seems, for me, it's just my opinion, that we are going through this cleanse process, and it seems for me that we are now bottomed, and maybe we can go now into the right direction. I know Smokey is cooking. I know he and the Giga Brains here on Berachain are thinking about the proof of liquidity. And yeah, yesterday I saw a post about the fees that are still not that small. So I think there's a lot of upside here. And I just want to say thank you to all of you guys who held through, who supported Berachain and supported Mibera. Yeah. Today we have also Han with us. Last time she joined for the first time. She is our spiritual, astrological expert. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask her. Yeah, and I'm going through some comments. Mibera sounds not working on YouTube. I think that should be fixed now because not a lot of people are complaining. So yeah, I'm going to pass to you, Eileen, Anya, Dan, Han. How are you doing? How was your last 2 weeks?
Oh, is this for me? Because like I don't know, I've been working so hard the last 2 weeks, so that like every time I looked at the price of Bera, I just kind of laughed and pulled my wallet away. I just didn't want to look at it because I know I'm convicted. I know I'm here for the long haul. The money's. I don't think I'm here for the money. I'm here for the good time.
Yeah. So same for me. I didn't post that much about Berachain, but there are a lot of things happening outside of Berachain. But I feel like it's like soccer or football. We call it in Europe football. That's the real football with playing with the feet. And
Real.
yeah, it's more popular. So I kind of make the analogy here that I have my favorite team. So I'm in Switzerland and I root for FC Basel, and I have my home team. I love them. I love them, and I keep supporting them. But if they're not playing, I'm watching the Champions League. I'm watching the Champions League final between Paris Saint-Germain and Inter Milan, and I'm enjoying it. But of course, if my team is playing, I'm rooting for my team. So I feel kind of same with Berachain. I love to explore. I love crypto. I love to explore other ecosystems, but Berachain feels for me like the home. And now it's not that much happening. I'm just keeping my stack stabling and not stabling, stacking up and doing proof of liquidity stuff. And yeah, I'm letting the compounding do the work, and meanwhile I'm exploring other stuff. Yeah. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Eileen, how was your last 2 weeks?
Good. It's been, I don't really know how to explain it, to be honest, because actually before I want to make a comment on PSG. So they made an announcement like last week that they were going to put Bitcoin as part of their treasury. So
yes,
now I will stop flooding PSG. I'm not like a football fan, but I just like to piss off people I know. So, but yeah, the last 2 weeks has been quite interesting for me, because I'd say it all went as expected for me when it comes to price action in crypto. But the things that I didn't expect were kind of like the moving pieces, the people I involved myself with. A lot of these things are changing, and they're like changing every 24 hours. So that's the unexpected part for me. And yeah, it's otherwise good weather, so it's okay.
Yeah. Anya?
Hey.
How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I publicly announced that I'm on a DHD team, so I have to say I'm emotionally involved in this whole thing. And I mean, I was reading timeline for a long time, maybe 2 months, like almost everything what people post. And for me, it was kind of like, it was very poisonous. So I took a step back because it was just like emotionally draining. And Yeah, and I think like collectively, I feel like as bears, we kind of forgot why we here. I feel like, and if I mean, like, yes, I really enjoy like fans spaces. Every day he does like a coffee house space, and today we chatted about BGT that maybe premium BGT was kind of overpriced, and this whole thing with governance that that I mean with a human factor everyone was using like liquid BGT instead of like I mean most of the folks were using liquidity instead of like governance stuff and not too much like utility on governance side. And yeah, I feel like with this like purge hopefully we are here, we're building, and we're gonna continue to deliver and hopefully vibe and rave. But yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like definitely been kind of like intense. So now I'm like also enjoying the weather, planning a bike ride of 300 kilometers in 2 weeks and stuff. Because I
Where are you
realized that
riding to?
well, just like just around the corner, taking a train, like 5 hour train back. Yeah.
Wow. Wait, so is your 300-kilometer just like
Yeah, it's
taking the
called like
bike on the
Privet.
train and then you
It's
go
like
on a train?
it's like a classical like cycling thing. It's called Privet from Paris to Brest, I think. It's like a
Oh,
traditional cycling, but we're doing just a local one with like spa day and champagne in the morning. So I'm kind of really excited because I realized that my timeline is my life, and when it was giving like bad vibes, my life became horrible. So I'm trying to balance it out.
that's cool. Are you, is this part of the Tour de France stuff, or is it like not the same?
I guess we're like, how do you say, like, I mean, we're trying to be, it's called like Sunday warriors, like people who work out on Sundays, like ride long rides on Sundays. But like I was training a lot for 2 years straight, and then I got sick and I lost my form in like 7 months. It's been like really tragic, and now I feel like super sick and like super weak. And mentally, I was like, I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna ride 300 kilometers. And my friends are like, yeah, let's hang out, let's just go with the car. You can just spend time in the car if you feel tired. So I'm like, okay, let's go. I'm just gonna do it just for fun, make some pictures and videos and stuff. So
Very nice. Very nice.
yeah, exciting.
Nice. Dan, how about you?
Hey, what's up, Mokus and everybody?
Hey,
Man, last 2 weeks, jeez. Man, Migs and I got our weekly thing that we do, right? So that's kind of a constant for us. But man, I don't concern myself with the complaints of others too often anyway. So, I've always been long-term for Barachain, man. So I use this as an opportunity to stack my bag at a lower price point, and I just keep doing what I'm doing. And I've been focused on some stuff outside of crypto. I'm trying to do some AI stuff, man, so that I've got like quite a bout of hyper focus going on the last couple of weeks here. So that's also taking a bit of time away and helping, I guess, too, at the same time,
Nice, nice. Have you ridden Loire du Velo? Someone is asking, I think Anya. Yeah, so we are shortly going to look at the reveal process, how we are going to go on. Next week, we are going to start with the 1-of-1 raffles. I don't know if you saw the article. We are going to talk about that later. But first, I want to touch on I want to ask Han, how was your last weeks? And the second question is, what the fuck is Strawberry Moon?
Oh my god. My last week, my last week, I've been busy with work. I am a part of a new project, which is really, really exciting. We're still in stealth, but so I've been working on that. But every single day, I would think, oh gosh, if I like look at bear chain stuff right now, I'm gonna get lost in the woods, and my job will never find me again. So I was kind of like a little worried about that because I just knew that like I wanted to really deep dive into it, but with regards to the strawberry moon, it's just really funny how Jani just times these things. Because the last time we spoke, I believe it was like, I think the 20th was like a few days before the Gemini new moon, and now we have a Sagittarius full moon. So Gemini. So every time there's a, what do you call it? How to explain this properly? So Sagittarius and Gemini are opposite signs. So meaning that a full 28 days have passed from the last reveal until this reveal. So that's just really interesting there. And that and the fact that like Jupiter is going to be transitioning out of Gemini as well. Whole bunch of different things that about transitioning in terms of how you think, community belief, community resolve, emotionality in that sense. So a whole bunch of mumbo jumbo that way. But to answer your question, what a strawberry moon is, a strawberry moon is just another term to designate the timing of things. It's going to be super moon, so that the moon is going to be extra close to the Earth, and you're going to be able to see it at a much brighter scale, much closer scale. It's going to look really big, and it just designates the time wherein people will be able to harvest strawberries, harvest the honey. Bees have been pollinating things very well, and so that's when the beekeepers come in and extract this like very highly valuable resource, especially back in the day during the Celtic era and whatnot.
Okay, so you mentioned the transition, so community building, and yeah, it kind of feels like that we, like I said before, we had this excitement, and we had the reveal, and then just like the whole Bera ecosystem kindly collapsed, and now we're in that phase that those people who were speculating and looked at the price and wanted to flip, those are now out. We call them tourists, and only those who see the vision, believe in the vision long term, are here, and we can now form a community and build from here on. Yeah, I pulled up the tweet here, which the Mibera account shared this morning. Europe time morning. We have here different time zones, but yeah, this is mentioned again, the strawberry moon. And yeah, as you said, this is the time where the strawberries and other fruits are in full bloom. We have on June 21 the, how do you call that in English? That's the longest day, and after the June 21, the days are going to decrease. So the time of the sun light will decrease again. So that's, I'm always sad because summer here in Europe not really started, but you already think, okay, we peaked now. So every day we will get a shorter day. So yeah.
No, summer solstice.
Yeah. So Han, you mentioned last stream something, you had a prediction about Mibera, when we are going to see a pickup and when we are going to be happy about it. What was that? I can't remember really.
Yeah.
I think that was a longer time frame.
Yeah, I believe like there was so there's two pieces to it. There's something to be optimistic about in June, around June 9th, when it picks up, but then it becomes especially exciting in 2026, honestly, in this next summer of 2026, when we can really see this community mature, if that's what you're referring to exactly. This is going to feel like a legacy project, if anything, just based on the planets and all the other placements that are with it, and what we could call perfection years. I could go into that, but it'll be a whole thing as well. Maybe I'll just write about it. But it's more or less going to be with this idea of this pull between logic and intuition versus faith. We're gonna, as a community, we're really going to have to struggle with that, and being okay with being an outcast and then being proven right eventually.
Yeah. So it will take a longer time because we have here someone in the comments. I don't like to talk about that because it's not something that we can control. But
I can
yeah,
answer for you. I think you're referring to the
yeah,
question that says, Mochas, please ask Jenny about the floor price.
yeah.
Like, what the hell is that, man? So, okay, so Jenny's not here, but basically what he would say if he was here is sorry for your loss.
Sorry for your loss. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what he's why is he here. So if you haven't sold already, I don't know. So yeah, it's a bit difficult because you can't. What would you say? So should he buy the whole collection or yeah, what should he do? So
I would say that there are some epic Miberas on the floor for 40 bears, and it's a good time to pick up one because big things are coming. You know, for us, like community holders and stuff.
yeah. But yeah.
Oh my god, can you go back to the futuristic one? Shit.
Yeah, they're amazing. So should we talk about the reveal process? There is the Honey Road website, honeyroad.xyz, and if you don't know, we don't have or Mibera doesn't have any Twitter group or any chat. Everything is taking place here. So we have here, like back in the good old days when when Silk Road was online, you had also these forums. So if you want to chat about Mibera, you want to share your story, then feel free to come here at honeyroad.xyz, and you have here a forum link. You have different chats, and we are going to look at no, it was back it was it community events? Yeah. So we have a draft about the reveal process. So we are going to explain it again for everyone. It's we used to have a plan. Better said, Jenny explained us at the beginning of the whole Mibera journey that there will be, I think, 42, but now it seems that we will have 45 randomly distributed one-of-ones. And in total, we will have 69 grays. So the initial plan was to have 42 or 45, and this is untouched. So this will be randomly distributed with some caveats. So we are going to look at it deeper now. So these 45, nothing changed. So you will have a chance to win a one-of-one. These will be raffled later on. I think it's still not decided if it will be every day one reveal, or we will have a weekly meetup and we'll raffle then. I think it's still need to be decided. And the other ones, the difference between the 69 and the 45, we have 3 winners of the Cup Quests. We have 7 who were distributed to us. So me, then Anya, then another then Lana Del Play, Han, and Eileen. Then 5 to superset holders, and 9 are going to be sold via auction with 100% of the funds going to the liquid backing. So there was a some people misunderstood that now we are, or Jenny is going to this going to distract some money, and he changed his mind, and he won't raffle the one-off ones, but he will do an auction. That's not the case. That's 9 on top of that 45. So I think that should be clear now. Okay, then there is some detail about the 45 raffled ones. We talked a lot about the swag scores, and yeah, there are some specifications about that. Here are some lists of token IDs, and we are going to look at the list. So on every reveal stream, I don't know how much we will have, but on every stream we will raffle live the one-off ones. Okay, that's not working for me. So we will have a list of all the token IDs and of the one-off ones. I'm not sure about how we are going to raffle them. I think there will be so it's like every day we will have a one-off one raffled, but as I said, maybe we will wait 7 days and we will raffle 7 ones, or we will do one by one every day. But I think it's first, here's an example. We will have a one-off one of the element water, and then the winner will be chosen from the list of the token IDs with the trait of the waters. There will be, I assume, I don't know, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I assume every day will be one-off one raffled, and there will be a list with the chances of being chosen. Those token IDs were excluded where those which are special. So Jenny mentioned, I think it was the first stream or the second one, with specific backgrounds that they are special and they can't turn to the one-off ones. Yeah. Anything to add, Eileen, Anya?
Yeah,
I remember
343.
the special one was the
backgrounds.
Shulgin's lab, I remember.
Yeah, most of the, I think it was like a total of 243. So those ones cannot become.
So you mean the, yeah. So the, yeah, because we have one-off ones and we have these grays, like a collection in the collection. They look completely different. They have like water, as you saw here. So they look completely different, like these, which you can customize on the Honey Road on the vending machine, Honey Road website. But we have unique pieces in the Mibera collection, which are one of a kind. So we have, what did you say, 343, which are unique, one of a kind, but so they can't turn to a one-off one. And yeah, if you do the work here and yeah, read every document, you can figure it out which has a better chances of becoming a one-off ones. And yeah, that's also the first question to you guys, because there was a discussion. Yeah, do you think it's fair for us to get also another one-off one? Because I know Eileen and Mix is not here, but some of you were extremely focused on getting better chances to get the one-of-ones. And yeah, how do we deal with that if we if we pull another one-of-one? What do you think?
I mean, Migs and I care more about this swag score. So we weren't hunting for the possibility to get one-of-ones. We were hunting for traits because one-of-ones is just random. But I think, yeah, it's it would be better if everybody has, or if more people had the chance to have a one-of-one. But I don't think we will ever actually get that lucky because it's like 69 out of, I don't know, 9,990. I think the chances are very, very low.
Yeah. So what I think is, and I can't talk about myself because I wasn't hunting. I was picking up one so far, but maybe I will pick up some more. But I wasn't hunting, and I think if I look at Mix is really obsessed with the Mibera collection, with the lore, with the articles. He is also hosting with Dan another Twitter space about speculation and about the whole Mibera. And I think it's fair to have them bigger chances, not because they are here and talking about it, but because they did the work. And I think it would be the opposite. So it would be not fair to exclude, for example, Mix and Dan, because they put so much time and work in it. I know it's like a hobby for them, so it's not that not because of the financial value, but I think it wouldn't be fair to exclude them of the possibility to get the one-of-ones. It's only my opinion. Yeah, but I can also understand that it maybe if someone looks at objectively, maybe it kind of sus if we are winning again by chance. Yeah, so but we know that in the Mibera universe nothing is happening by chance. It's everything orchestrated by the Jester universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and feel free to comment, feel free to give your opinions here in the comments on Twitter, on YouTube. So it should be an open conversations. We are happy to read your opinions too. Yeah, here is a proposal to do the raffle on the Wheel of Games. It feels a bit odd, but yeah, I'm here for it. Maybe I have another suggestion, but we need to talk about that maybe outside of the stream. There's a funny raffle process with docs, and this could be also a possibility. I don't know if you already saw that. Yeah, and as I understand, the winner of the ID will turn the image into a one-of-one. So yeah.
Wait,
yeah.
So on the wheel of names, there's gonna be like 9,990 minus 343 IDs.
Seems
wow.
like, yeah. it will
I don't
crash.
think it's possible on wheel of names. Like what? It's like, I don't know, 10 or wait, hold on. How many can you have?
So Mix joined us. Hello, Mix. How are you?
Hey guys, I'm a little late. Work got me
Hello.
all twisted up. What did I miss?
Nothing.
No problem. Nothing so far, I would say. I just was talking about you that I asked the question which we had outside of the stream, that would it be fair if we, one of those 7 who already won these one-of-ones, would it be fair if we would win again? And I was arguing that not because of me, but because of you, Mix, and Eileen, who were hunting and who were doing a lot of work and putting in a lot of effort. I think it would be not fair if we would exclude you. So that's only my opinion. What do you think about that?
Well, I appreciate that. Well, again, I think that as long as the competitive balance is fair, right? It's apparently random. We haven't seen, I think, the inner workings, right, of how it's going to work. Have we, Mokus? I think it's going to be some form of randomization, as long as it's truly random. And I think Janny had also mentioned that you may have an advantage depending on your level of research, right? If you kind of know this, that, and the other thing around the traits, or maybe it's going to have something to do with rarity, all those things. I know that there was something that came out that excluded some Miberas because they're already so rare. They don't want those to turn into a one-on-one. So, I'd love the opportunity, of course, to compete. But if it comes at the expense of that lovely gift that we all got of being able to design our own, I certainly wouldn't want that. So if it had to be one or the other, of course, I want the ability to design it and work with it. I'm super excited and obviously really proud to have gotten that gift from Janny. And if that is kind of the rules, like, well, hey, you get this, but then you don't get to compete. Okay. Okay.
Wait. Hold up. What do you mean design it?
Yeah, he told us that, Aileen. You don't remember that?
No.
Yeah, we get to design our own, but it has to be within.
Yeah, and also like I'm excluded, guys. Like I'm not on the list. It's like 5 of you. That's why I'm like this.
Why?
By the way,
I think that's because you're
hello.
I thought that's because you're a team member on here, right? If you're a team member,
but like not on the stream. Like this is just crazy. Like because also like you guys, I mean, like the announcement is like, okay, so you guys getting the NFTs and the rest is like auctioning everything, and I'm like broke as fuck. Like I'm never gonna buy, never gonna compete with the whales. Who gonna.
But also we can't sell because people would know. So like there's no benefit of actually having.
No,
this.
I'm
This
talking about like auction, the auction for for before. The idea before was like, and also the discussion on the previous stream was like, so everyone else was listening with their butts, so you should be grateful that or something like that. So I thought like the last stream was kind of crazy in my opinion.
Well, it was crazy. You'll get no argument from me, but it was awesome. It was absolutely awesome. And yes, we get to design.
No, I'm happy for you guys. It's nothing against any of you or like jealous or something. I just think it's crazy like that. I'm just happy it's random now because that was what was promised to the community from the beginning on, and people are fighting and like hunting and stuff. That's why Mix is getting rewarded, so it makes sense. But I don't know.
So did I understand it correctly that the swag score will not have an influence of the chances to win a one-of-one?
I don't know that that's the case, Mokus. I think, in fact, it might be. I think it does influence it, although I don't think it's 100% responsible. So I'm anxious to get more details, but in reading the few things that have been out there, and again, I'm not saying I know for sure. I could be completely off base here. But my understanding is that the swag score is definitely going to influence the rarity, in some way, but it isn't going to be exclusively to that. So, it could be a B, it could be an A, it could be a triple S. But I think that those that are more rare, I think may have a better chance of being selected, unless it was, of course, excluded from that document. Remember, because there were quite a few super rare Miberas that were excluded. Those are absolutely off the table.
I think Eileen said that were 343 supply of these one-of-ones, which can't win the real one-of-ones.
So wait, I don't know if that's 100%. What I do know is that because the 343 comes from the special backgrounds, so though that's the number. But I don't know if all the other
Ah,
one of ones,
No,
like
no,
the
there was
pairs or
there was a
something.
document, Aileen. Janny published a document with all the actual numbers that are excluded.
Okay, okay.
okay. And
Yeah.
how many are there?
I don't have it in front of me, Mokus. Please bear with me. We should be able to find it if you go to Gianni's post. It should be in there, and you should be able to see it. I did want to circle back, Aileen, to your point about getting a 101 and not being able to potentially sell it. Not that I have any plans to sell mine. It's going to be my forever PFP. But if you remember, Janny had talked about sell shaming at one point. It was in reference to the Henlo airdrop and how people kind of got NFTs. Remember, they were soul bound, of course. I'm anxious to see where those go. But it was a general discussion about just, selling of NFTs and sell shaming and, hey, should we kind of keep this or whatever? And I'll never forget what he said, because I think he was asked a question by a community member about, hey, what are your thoughts on this? And I'm going to butcher it, but his fundamental message was, hey, man, if you can get a house as opposed to selling an NFT, take the goddamn house. If you don't do that, and I remember this very specifically, he said, that's a fuck up. I remember him saying those words, because Janny doesn't curse all that often, but I remember him actually saying that. So again, if you get this and someone offers you a home for it, I would encourage you to reference back to Janny's comment about that when potentially selling it.
Yeah, no sell shaming here, but yeah, I won't sell. So, do you remember where the post is?
It came out, Mokus, right shortly after our last. Yep. Do you see it?
No, but I can remember now. It was May 20th. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's going to be a ways back, because he posts quite a bit.
Yeah.
Imagine somebody's pocket watching Mix and trying to sell and buy Miberas or something.
Well, it's very possible
to get the house.
Well, it's funny because I looked at that list, and as you guys know, when it all happened, I was shopping with us live on stream, and I picked up a couple, triple S's, and I thought, oh man, this is going to be great. But they're both on the exempt list, right? they're on the list of, hey, it's too rare already, it's not going to turn into one. And then of course we were excluded potentially, as even if it did change, it wouldn't be honored. So since that announcement, I've done no shopping. I'm just focused on the design at this point. But if Janny lifts that, or if he decides to make it for a community vote, and the community will vote, hey, yes, it's random, let those folks compete, then I will go back to doing some shopping. But until then, I'm good right where I am.
Mix. So before you came on, there was a guy commenting from YouTube that was talking about, like, why isn't Jenny doing anything about the floor price, and like, this is what is going on and stuff. So now we know the answer. The reason why Miberas are going down is because Mix is not buying. Like, what the hell?
Oh my God.
I can absolutely confirm that is one of the that's absolutely one reason that may be contributing to the floor price, because those triple S's weren't cheap. I can tell you that.
Jesus.
I was going to ask until I search it that Mix, how did you understand this phrase here? The water 1 of 1 will be randomly raffled by the token IDs, but there will be like a selection, like there will be an CSV file with the potential winners.
That's the file that we're looking for. So that file, it shows all the Miberas that are eliminated because they're too rare. It'll also show, like for that particular, all the water Miberas, right? So if you have a Mibera that's a water sign, as long as it's not on the excluded list because it's already super rare for whatever reason, then all of those Miberas, one of those will be the quote water rare, the water 1 of 1. And then there'll be a fire 1 of 1. and then there'll be a Earth 1 of 1. And that CSV file that was published, it'll show you all the eligible numbers that could possibly turn into that 1 of 1. So that file is incredibly valuable because that'll allow you, if you want to shop or potentially even have a chance, you'll need to make sure that your Mibera is under that, either the water sign or the earth sign or the fire sign, etc.
Okay, so for every 1 of 1, there will be other other criteria for the winning chances.
Yeah, well, we'll see what it doesn't determine the winning chances. When I read through it, Mokus, my understanding was the team got together and they decided, okay, hey, this group of Miberas is already super rare, so we're going to remove them from consideration, and that's on the exempt list. Then they looked at the water Miberas and said, okay, all of these water Miberas, these are the ones that we feel should have an opportunity to change. And then I believe they're going to be placed in this randomizer, if you will, and then one of them will be selected.
And also there was something about like plain Miberas. Is it still part of the plan that plain Miberas are special or no? Do you know?
I believe, Anya, what it is the plain Miberas were kind of, quote, special because if you had one, it gave you like basically a 1 in every category for all intents and purposes. But I believe the plain Miberas, they'll also be, like I said, there'll be a fire 1 of 1, a water 1 of 1, a plain 1 of 1. Right?
I see.
Yeah, I think that's how it's going to work.
Wow. Oh my gosh.
I don't know if you something different. This is a guy from our community, and he built something that you can put in your token ID, and it shows where your Mibera was born.
Wow.
So I just wanted to point that out. It's also in the style of the Honey Road, so maybe you can enter here on top your token ID, and then it will search where it was born. So token ID free was born in oh my gosh, I can't read that. Yeah, that's in Africa.
Guys, okay.
Adding to that, I'm assuming you guys, when you're in your design process, Mocha says you're designing your 101, and again, such an incredible gift. What a gift from God.
Yeah,
for us to be able to do that.
It's too much pressure.
I'm assuming you're picking I'm assuming you're picking your GPS coordinates, right? I got my GPS coordinates all set. I know exactly where she's born. I'm ready, man. Are you guys?
Okay, so
that's what I wanted to ask everyone, for each of you. How would you design your Mibera? Because Eileen didn't know that, but yeah.
No. So you know how last week Twitter kept like fucking up and messages won't load?
Yeah.
So I just started scrolling up. Apparently, I thought you guys were like all taking some time off or something, and then apparently like. Okay, now I see the messages and the links to like the GitHub and stuff. What the fuck?
Okay, you have the link.
The same thing.
It was the Twitter outage, and you didn't receive.
Yeah.
Oh,
so
shit.
I have no idea what you guys are talking about. Like this is.
What?
I thought I had a blackout like last stream, and then like maybe something happened and I didn't know about it. But yeah, okay, so.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That GitHub, Aileen, is the one that Mokus is looking for. So Mokus, if you can go in there and bring it up, that might be faster. Because Janny had posted it, and then I believe it was in the chat as well. But that GitHub is the link.
It's the same one on the forum. It's just the Zerguchi's repo, right? It's the Mibera -1 of 1 -lists.
Yep,
that's his
it.
repo. Yeah.
I can't open it because it does not show.
You can go to Honey Road. You can go to Honey Road, right?
Honey Road, it's also there.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Wait.
Hang on. Maybe I can just drop it here in the stream thingy.
So Quizmaker Bridge.
Alright, I dropped it in the stream thing.
Okay. Oh, now I see it. Yeah. now it's working. Okay.
Oh, I see too.
So, excluded token IDs.
So
Okay.
these ones we know unequivocally won't turn into 101 because they're already super rare. So, some
Alpha
people might
here.
say,
Alpha
well, hey,
here.
I don't want it. I don't want it then. But others might be like, well, hey, I'm fine with a super rare Mibera.
Yeah.
So
there are 467 which are excluded from the 101 raffles. So we have here the file with all the 101s. Anya is back here.
I went too deep into the list.
So yeah. This might be alpha, and maybe we have some based devs in our community who can play with those token IDs, and yeah, it's interesting.
And it's so interesting, right, Mocha? Because you can see, right, there'll be a Buddhist 101, an Ethiopian 101, a Greek 101, a Hindu 101, right? Each of those categories will have its own 101.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Cool.
So
and they
for
published it 2
each
weeks ago.
raffle,
Publicly.
yeah. So for example, if I understand it right, the Mayan 101, there are 610 token IDs which are eligible, so which potentially could win. And we will do the raffle live. So I will enter all the token IDs into the raffle, and then we will have a winner.
That's my understanding. So again, if you wanted the Mayan 101, you target all these, you sweep. If you were to sweep all 610 of these, you'd have a guaranteed 101.
Nice.
Not that I thought about doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. Time period, ancient, swag. So here we have swag rankings. A, B, C, D, F, S, 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 S. So those might be related to the swag score.
So I bet there's probably less than, right, Mo? Because there's probably less than 610 triple S's. Because I think the most triple S's, I think there are like 100, right? So if you wanted a 101, 82
the triple S.
Yeah, so basically what that means is that I think there's 100 of them in circulation, but 18 of them were excluded because they're already, super rare, which means 82 left.
Oh, nice. Nice. That's cool. That's base stuff. So again, now you see, if you put in the work, if you go through all this, you increase your chances. And if you increase your chances and then win, I think you shouldn't be excluded or punished for that. So, yeah.
Well, if we get confirmation for that, I'll be doing some shopping on the triple S's, especially.
All right. You guys heard it here first. Mix pump our bags.
Nix is our exit liquidity. No, never exiting.
I've
no
been
sell
called
shaming.
worse. I've been called worse, Mocha.
No, no way. No. Yeah, and how would you design your one-of-ones?
Well, I can't say because someone's gonna steal my idea, but I already got her already. I know what she's wearing. I got the background. I got what she's holding, where she's born, all the signs.
How do we design it?
Yep, it's gonna be awesome.
Wait, hold on. Okay, do we go to the vending machine, or do we just tell Gumi some shit?
Yeah, we're gonna. So we won't have that opportunity until quite some time. The way I understood it is that a lot of this is going to happen first, and then we'll have that opportunity later in the process. And yes, we'll work directly with either Gumi, and I think there are potentially some other artists that might be collaborating and making the one-on-ones. Well, I think I heard that. I'm not sure, But I think at some point, yeah, we'll be able to provide feedback. But Janny did say we need to stick within the confines of the right. We can't like make a Mibera that, you know, looks like a, you know, not in that
ladies.
form, right? Well, I don't know what the parameter, but he said, hey, you need to stick within the design. Now there might, I believe that means we could probably still have them holding something that isn't necessarily in the vending machine, right? Maybe we can have them holding a box of Wheaties if we wanted or something. I'm assuming that that would be allowed because it's a 101, but I think we'll get those details as we get closer. But I am as giddy as a schoolgirl about it. I am so excited to be able to do it.
I think it's so it's so okay. So now that I'm hearing about all of this, it's so strange to see the 7 of us design something, because all the designs aren't exactly related to each other. Like, for example, with the elements, you can kind of like there's the Mibera soul, but it's Mibera because it's a fucking element. So it's like, I don't know. What are the boundaries? Because I have an idea. I just don't know.
I think
if
there
it's
is no
possible.
limit. Your imagination are your boundaries.
I love that, Marcus. I love that. I hope that that's the case. That our imaginations are the only limits within the Mibera eco.
Yeah. I would be very interested in Han. How would she design her Mibera?
Oh gosh, I already have ideas. I think I've already shared some of them in the what do you call it? In the Mibera Maker thing. So of course, I've pulling in that Greek mythology stuff, a little bit maybe of like New Testament stuff. Just I honestly, this is the first I've ever heard that we're designing it too. So my brain's kind of going crazy as well.
Nice.
That was like the best part, guys. How did you miss? I was live on stream.
Yeah.
It was Elon. Okay, Elon.
No. It was live.
It was on
when
stream.
it was
Stop
on
rubbing
stream.
What do you mean?
Salt in my heart.
Yeah,
He said the design, but like I thought it was gonna be an honorary type of thing. Like whatever, you know, Gumi thinks of us, she makes it. I didn't know that we were gonna make it ourselves.
Yeah,
Maybe you
Jenny
blitzed
said that
out.
on stream. Yeah.
That's the best
Remember
part.
that.
That's the part that makes it so personal, is because, you know, we get to design it as you know, whatever's important to us. And oh man, it's so great. It's so great.
Wait, I'll be right back.
Eileen is too excited. For me, I'm an overthinker. So when I design something, it needs to be perfect, and then I'm overthinking it. And no, should be that, and no, maybe this, and I have real problems to design my own one-of-one, which will be lasting forever. So it's pressure on me, but I'm happy that we don't need to hesitate and do it quickly. So I have a lot of time to think about it.
You can use the Punching Penguin for inspiration.
Yeah, definitely. Dan, have you any thoughts?
Oh man. Listen,
which you want to share? I don't want to.
I'm excited, dude, but like having to choose and design something actually gives me a bit more anxiety because I am an overthinker. I'm like, well, wait, what is this good? No, that sucks. I'll never be able to sell it, even if I needed to get like a medical procedure or something, because I'm not going to choose the right stuff. Like, and to go over something that means something to me, I'm going to question every little thing that means something to me just to get to something that I won't end up deciding on, man. I'm nervous, actually. I'm worried for my decision making when it comes to the one-of-one.
Yeah.
I would make Habibi 101, like what's the name? Teddy. The same, but Mibera.
Yeah, this got sold for less than. Yeah, it's another topic. Yeah. Any questions from the community, from the listeners? We have Han with us. So last time we needed to go on with the reveal, and a lot of people had questions to Han. Now is the chance.
Yeah, give me sun, moon, rising if you'd like. I'll let you know if your Mibera is a GF material or not. If you could, that's what you guys care for. I know that what do you call it? Migs's Miberas are, a few of them are sugar babies. Is that what I said? I was something along those lines.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I will look if we have something else. Yeah, I think we covered a lot of things. Anything else you want to touch on?
Was there any mention of how the reveal process exactly would be? Like a couple in waves or something? Because I mean, 69 is a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot. So let's make like everybody should tell what do they think about, should we do it daily or should we do it like weekly and raffle 7 of them? What do you think?
So we're raffling 40, right? 46 or something, and 9 is for you guys.
7,
or something.
Okay, yeah, fair. Yeah.
40. Every day is kind of crazy, don't you think? Like once a day.
I think that's
Every
crazy.
day is crazy.
Yeah.
That's
I think that's
crazy.
crazy. Yeah, I'd lean more with the weekly thing for sure.
Maybe that's why Han said that Mibera gonna peak in 2026.
Last reveal,
wow.
end of 2026.
Oh my god. Oh, I still remember when we were kind of guessing when the full reveal was going to happen. And then I think Jenny said something in the documents like April 20th or something. And I was like, wait, it's this year, right?
2025, yeah. Yeah, I would prefer also for me, because I'm working, I have a job, a family, we're going on vacations, to commit to do daily for 45 days or more. It's tough, but I think from the convenience point of view, would prefer to do it once a week. We can keep it up like every Tuesday, like till now, every Tuesday at the same time, and then we will raffle 7 pieces. Maybe Jenny joins us and tells us something about the one-of-ones. So, someone with very good advices here, with taking psychedelics and quitting jobs, and yeah. Thanks, guys.
I saw like I think something about like, my Mibera took mushroom and like flew somewhere.
Okay. Okay, crazy.
But
Yeah.
we kind of, I feel like we know more or less what kind of Mibera is gonna be revealed, right? Because we saw it in Zarguchi doc.
Yeah, we saw the names, but we haven't seen the
order is not
designs. Yeah.
Yeah, would be crazy.
And the ones Johnny posted are already for sure gonna be one-on-ones, right? The ones future Mibera.
I think so. I mean, can you imagine him just being like, "Hey, Gumi, can you make one where it's just gonna be used as Twitter?"
I can. You can also ask ChatGPT to make some, you know. Maybe it's a reg again.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So, but how I understand was that Jenny dropped this proposal, and we should have 14 days to discuss about it, and then he will come up with a final version, how the reveal process will look like. And yeah, still not decided of if we will do the stream every day or weekly. I think we tend to do it weekly. I will share. Han is writing. You can also speak, Han. No problems.
Oh, I know. I just have these like trains of thoughts that I want to write down for posterity. That's the word for it. But no, it's there's Kunky Dinky that because Johnny doesn't really talk about the moon that often. So when he does talk about the moon, the strawberry moon, because that's interesting. The strawberry moon's happening in Sagittarius. The natal chart of Mibera has a Gemini moon, which is its opposite. I don't know. There's something there, like moon, the natal moon, like the birth moon being opposite the moving moon. Kind of crazy. That's so exact. The fact that Johnny uses the Cancer 1 of 1 so often, the moon one, the Cancer with the crab on it, kind of interesting too. So I don't know. I feel like there's a conspiracy there. I'm trying to figure it out myself.
What do you mean interesting? What's interesting for you?
It's the fact that like the timing in it, like why he's chosen
The
this.
coincidence, yeah.
Yeah.
Jester universe.
Do we
Yeah,
have some
so
time?
420 and 520, these were also, I think, meaningful dates in the moon calendar. Am I right?
Yeah,
420.
something along the lines of it's close. Oh, 420. Yeah, I think it's very close to the new moons. The new moons for both. What it was? It was a new moon in Aries and a new moon in Cancer, which is really interesting. Cardinal signs. Oh my God, there's something there. Okay, I have to write this down. I don't know how I'm gonna explain it to other people, but if anyone's an astrology person, it's something along the lines of like angular houses. The fourth house of home, the 7th house of partnership, and the 10th house of like legacy. All these are falling within the Mibera chart that way. Really interesting, really specific, kind of crazy. I don't know. I feel like I need to interrogate Johnny now. I don't know. Maybe he'll block me after that.
Migs, I'm gonna need your help later. I'm completely lost here.
Yeah.
This is the
That's why I'm
good
asking
stuff.
what's interesting about it, because I understand sun and the moon for 20 weed, you know? Like,
Yeah.
the
But
I heard mushrooms and I was down until that part.
Oh.
So yeah, I think there's definitely more about that, about the dates, about the reveal process, and I think it's not a coincidence. Also, the ranking. So for the first 1 of 1, the second 1 of 1, I think each will have a day, and these days might be have more importance to that. It's only my speculation. Jenny is a witch. Yeah, he's a wizard. I called him a wizard last stream. Yeah, I don't know. You shared also something else, Han, before that. Okay. Conceit. Okay. I saw in the chat that someone else is joining the stream.
Yeah. I don't know for sure because I don't know how much time he has.
Okay.
So if he actually requests, then just let him in. And it's like his first time touching base with the community in this way. So please make his life a living hell. And you'll be doing a great service.
Got you. No problem.
Who is this?
His life.
Eileen,
I
has your husband been invited to the chat?
Oh, yeah.
Her son. If she has it.
Does it have to do with all the rave questions you've been asking lately?
Oh, right. So, I don't know. I think like this is a very interesting thing. I think I'm actually probably gonna do one eventually. But I'm hoping that Baby Vera can just host one so I don't have to go meet actual strangers.
Digital rave-a-thon, let's do it.
that it's not quite the same thing, guys.
Listen, my living room will like be pretty darn good, man. I'm safe to go. I don't know about y'all, but I got it ready.
It's like taking a shower with a raincoat on.
So Carney joined us. Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Hi. I'm just crashing the party. What do y'all
Yes.
usually do here?
Okay, so everything is ridiculous, and now it's getting more ridiculous. And I have no idea what's happening, but the update is that the NFT collection I started messaging him about, we've kind of finished a lot of the reveal process except for the grails. And we're now talking about something called Strawberry Moon, some psychedelics. Oh, shit. Okay. First of all, Carnation is the ecosystem dude at Bearchain Foundation. So you can ask him questions.
With the anime
Yes, he horn
images. Okay.
Yes.
I almost said hentai, but it's not that.
Oh my god.
It's not that kind of
Hey.
party, Mokus. It's not that
Carmen,
kind of party.
it's the other one
You got Raven his mind. It went crazy.
where I'm not invited. Yeah, I get it. No, happy to have you here, Carney. Hello. Do you know about Mibera?
Yes,
So
What
I
do you
have
know about
heard.
Mibera?
Not much.
Literally like nothing.
Nothing.
I'm
So-
here to learn, other than Eileen telling me this is a thing.
Yes.
But the crazy
So-
part is that you sound very shy, but your images tell a completely different story.
So I hosted Carney once on like a serious casual space where I'm usually drinking, and he just kept making like sexual innuendo jokes, and I'm like, what the fuck? 'Cause, you know.
Carney, what the
at
fuck?
the-
Okay, let's focus on Mibera.
Was that the hentai space that Mokus just mentioned?
Why am I not invited? Hey,
That's why Twitter been down, Alien, for you.
That's a different group chat.
different
So-
group.
So Carney, do you have like? Okay, this is
He's
what I
a-
shared with Carney, right? I told him that you can mint drugs on honeyroad.xyz. And I kind of told him that around the same time he joined Bearchain. So obviously, he probably
There are no
regretted his decision.
coincidences.
I mean, those
And-
are fake drugs, so
I mean, it's real if it's, you know, real in your head, right?
I think Carney will leave the Bearchain Eco soon again.
Honey Road team, yes.
it's actually now my favorite thing to flex at the bar. I'm like, I actually created like a drugstore, but it's like an art project.
Art project.
But anyway, Carney, we started doing these like reveal streams since April 20th, or rather, the troll reveal stream since April 20th, then the real reveal stream since April 23rd. And since then, we've just been kind of unraveling. This is like a collection that has a lot of lore. It has a fuck ton of traits and attributes, all credited towards like basically human civilization history, elements, chemistry, alchemy, and all kinds of stuff. As well as like sun, moons, and stuff like that. So that's what we are doing here. And the majority of the reveal phases has already happened. So yeah, let's talk about what you've been up to. So I have a comment here called by Midas. He says, "Carney is a man." How do you feel about that, man?
That's a tough one. Like just like the drugs on Honey Road, it is what you have in your head that matters.
God, snap.
Wow, we got the thinker over here, the philosopher.
Yeah.
I was making the mistake with this Laudio, which was happening last weekend, and I was surprised, or I was, again, I was trolled. Still don't know if Ultra is a is a man or a woman, but I got trolled. And I don't say nothing, and especially if I see these anime style of female characters, I have no idea if they're men or women, or born as a man and feeling like women. And yeah, it's another conversation. Yeah.
I mean, anything can happen now.
Yeah.
And Carney, what have you been up to? I mean, you've been obviously busy, but like, is there something, you know, that's been fun? I mean,
Yeah. Okay, yeah, so maybe like a little more context for everyone. Like I'm on Berachain's DeFi team, if you will. Like we don't have a official DeFi team. It's mostly just me and Jack doing the more DeFi Ponzu-esque things. And Jack's been sort of the product daddy recently. You see him tweeting about the new release to the hub with the Meta DEX aggregator, so people can, you know, make their swaps without leaving the hub. Yay, hubby. Anyway, that's left me a lot of leash to go out and do some cool stuff. And I think most of y'all have already been on some of the spaces with Joey from Aceto lately. And the TLDR there is Aceto is like a really cool token. I would say more than the Launchpad. It's more like a liquidity management platform where you can do like swaps, borrowing, shorting the same token using the same liquidity. It's really efficient. And yeah, we're just lining up different, how do you call it, project launches there. And like there will be legitimate projects like your typical DeFi projects, and there will be fun meme coins. And some of the maybe alfalfa slightly is that like Aceto makes a lot of fees because of all the swap fees and lending interest and all that under the hood. And we can direct the fees from there to do some very interesting things. One can imagine the fees going to do something as simple as like token buybacks to make token number go up, like yay. But also other things like we've seen from like Laudio, right? Like what if you rewarded people for yapping, right? Laudio had its own set of troubles where the people getting paid out aren't necessarily like token holders or, you know, aligned with Laudio in that way. You could criticize Laudio and get paid, right? And it doesn't really help. But, you know, maybe there are other things we can do where we put a filter for like the people who are yapping, but you also check their wallets to make sure they're actually holding the token while they yap before they can claim the rewards, right? Then you can be sure that the people who are earning do have some skin in the game. Things along those lines. Yeah, I'd say like the Ponzus are fun. And
wait,
maybe,
Carney.
Yeah.
Why? Okay, I've been hearing, and I also saw something like a comment or a post from Mochas in the last few days during the Laudio saying the same thing about like, if you criticize like a project, it actually might do better because you would get engagement because of people rage baiting or stuff like that. So why aren't we doing this on Berachain? Because so many people are fucking flooding Berachain now. We could just like all be rich from Kaito and then buy Bera. Like what? That's the real Ponzu.
That's one of my pitches. FUD to earn. Let's put up bounties to FUD other projects, or you know, pay people to FUD Berachain, like as a way to rage bait people, right? I mean, like, why not, right? Like,
Berachain people are just so good at it. So right? Like,
They're doing it for free. We should.
Yeah. Fuck.
Oh, you know, like the moment we pay people money to do something, then suddenly it becomes a little icky, right? So maybe they'll stop. Reverse psychology.
This some you know, $3.50 kind of shit.
Yeah.
But Carney, how would you do that? How would you implement a Laudio style reward system into Berachain? Would you set up a pool for it and let it be voted from the validators, or how would that work?
Yeah. We've talked about doing like two sets of things. Like one is like a bearer chain, like Laudio rewards, where like bearer chain's actual inflation goes towards yappers, but that's probably a little too big of a step to take in terms of like what the chain finds valuable to reward, because like mostly we want to reward activity that is contributing to bearer chain, the network itself, whereas like people yapping is kind of happening outside the existence of bearer chain, the blockchain. So like that's a little too far to take, but distribution is important, right? Like for a lot of projects on Berachain, like the Yapper rewards could probably be like a more efficient spend of their marketing budget, right? Like because if you were to run like ad campaigns or whatever, it's going to run you like a few $1,000s to boost your search engine results or things like that. And a few $1,000s on a Yap board probably goes a lot further. So in that sense, right, like probably it makes much more sense for the individual projects on Berachain to explore something like a doesn't have to be like Laudio by dropping another token, but simply like having a Yapper board set up where the top Yappers are getting paid like out of the pot of, call it like a few $100 to a few $1,000s.
Yeah, so maybe Honeyjar could do that, or maybe Steady Teddies, or different projects, but not on chain level for the Barrow token.
Yeah. Although like, we could loop it in where like the chain is not giving it out for free, but like if a project wanted to say like, I'm going to give receipt tokens to people who yap about my project. Like if I track everyone's socials and their wallets, right? I can say like, oh, you yapped this many times, so I'm going to emit you some dummy tokens on Berachain, and using the dummy tokens that represents the amount you yapped, they could create a reward vault that says emit BGT tokens to these Yapper receipt token holders. That is a viable setup. The project would just have to bribe the validators to emit BGT to that vault. Yeah, so it would work like any other incentivized action.
Okay, cool.
What else have you been playing with around Laudio?
I think mostly just trying to figure out what the game theory behind it is, because they're like as someone who's on the yapping side, like when the attention is too strong, like it's very hard to get into the top 25. But now that attention has been dying down, people are turning off their fake engagement bots, and like the top KOLs already got to eat one, so now they're not motivated anymore. I'm finding it easier to come back into the top 25, right? And maybe like I'm speaking from a place where like I still have a decent enough audience that like I can try moderately hard and do this. But I think even smaller accounts, if they are willing to kind of go hard at it, they can make it in now.
You are the 27th.
Yeah, fighting for my life on the edge.
So go support Connie.
Yeah, FUD him. I mean, FUD Laudio on his timeline.
Nice.
That's cool.
Have you looked into Puddle Finance?
Sorry, like bottle?
Puddle.
Like a game.
Paddle finance.
Yeah.
You talking about the thing with the watches?
No, it's
No,
the
that's
thing where
Paddle.
you spank people.
You spank people?
Oh my god, you're back to
Sometimes.
No,
Are you talking about
is
the
it-
Bullis
It's
game?
Bulas, Elin.
No, it's the thing with the Mibera thing, right? Is that
Yeah,
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 with the Mibera
It's
wallet.
the NFT
Paddle
loans
Finance.
steady, right?
Wait, I will pull it up. Paddle
Paddle,
Finance. They set up a pool. I think they had their TGE today. Let me show you. It's this one.
Oh, Paddle Finance. Yeah, of course. Yeah, the pad token. Did you get an
Yeah.
airdrop? Did you stake any of your NFTs?
No, I was too late. You?
I've got some questions for that team before before I
okay.
Like,
involved.
is it questions or interrogations?
Feel.
Well, that's all in the eye of the beholder, Eileen. there were some
Jesus.
very predatory loans that were peer-to-peer that were on there for quite some time. I don't know if they've changed it, but I've never been a fan of, and granted, they're not putting them up, it's peer-to-peer. But I think the example that I gave, Den, when you and I talked about it, it's like, well, hey, we're just going to put a bunch of cocaine on the table. If you decide to take it, hey, that's your problem, not mine, right? I'm not forcing you to take all that coke, but it's right there on the table, and maybe you just chip away at it. But if you do, it's not my problem, right? So I don't want to like that. So I wanted more information on the peer-to-peer stuff. But hey, I know they've got the timeline right now. They're doing a lot of stuff over there. They just incorporated Mibera too. So I'm interested, but I think they got a 9%, right? Isn't that right, Mokus? They got a 9% rate on the loan. Is that static or dynamic? That was another one I wanted to ask them. There was
I don't know.
A lot of stuff with like airdrops too. I'm concerned with. You know, if you come from like the Ordinals ecosystem or Bitcoin, they have a thing over there called Liquidium, which works very similar to Paddle. So if your NFT's on loan, and let's say for whatever reason that NFT got an airdrop, would that airdrop go to you, or would it go to them? Or if that were to get liquidated before you paid it off, would then the person that got the NFT get the airdrop? Right. So there's a lot of things. And is it, especially when you talk about floor prices, because you can get pretty creative if you want to liquidate floor prices on some NFTs, depending on if that's what they base it off of. And again, is it dynamic? So there's a lot of things I'm interested in with them.
Okay.
Definitely interesting. But Carney, if we have you here, may I ask, what are your plans on finding on the proof of liquidity side?
You mean the upgrades?
Yeah.
I ask him that like every day.
It's top secret.
Yeah, and maybe a little more like sharing around this, because I guess there hasn't been too much public updates other than what's in the forum, which kind of moves slow. So like we put out the POLV 1.1 proposal, right, which is just to say like one of the imbalances in the current system is that all the value produced by the chain, which is again like overwhelmingly from the bribes, that's all going to BGT holders and the LSTs and the validators, leaving essentially nothing for the bearer token itself. And if people can't find a reason to hold or buy bearer, right, like the bearer price kind of just crashes, and like that's not good for BGT either. So kind of a trade-off was that what if we take out a little bit of value going to BGT and return it to bearer tokens, right? Then maybe BGT yield goes down today by a little, but that may be enough to help bearer price stay, let's just say, flat or something, so that there is a floor on BGT, and people holding BGT actually feel safer because there's a floor, right? So that's kind of the general idea. Like how it's actually implemented would be a slight tax, if you will, on all the bribes being paid in. The tax goes towards accumulating bearer and honey tokens together for chain-owned liquidity. This part doesn't matter too much. Like it's just basically saying like from the money we take, let's put it into a DEX with bearer paired with honey. The more money you put into this is essentially more thicker liquidity that can absorb bearer sell pressure. It also generates more swap fees and things like that. Later down the line, this can be rehypothecated into lending or extended into also like staking bearer as well. But yeah, that's like the general gist of the V1.1 proposal. A lot of people felt that this didn't actually go hard enough or far enough in terms of like a overhaul for the system. And yeah, what I can say is we are currently looking at a different, slightly more elaborate system to help restore the balance. That's what we're calling POLV 1.2. And on the forum, some people have also put out their own versions of PLV 1.3. I think the changes for PLV 1.2 will come out relatively soonish, like probably not this week because we're looking at it, probably a little after. Let me see if there's anything I can share. If you look at P1.1, PLV 1.1, there were a few like rejected mechanisms listed on top. Like some of them were rejected because they were slightly more complex, but they would be viable solutions. Yeah, so we're exploring some of those further. I think that's what I'm okay to say for now.
It's like when I read like the comments and stuff, I felt like, okay, so there was this guy that said something about, isn't the whole point to have the incentives be there so people would park liquidity? And I was like, oh my god, this guy thinks Verachain is an app, you know? Like, and I was like, okay, so I think there's this fundamental thing, and then that's why I reread every single thing like in the past 2 days again. Then I started to realize, like, okay, I think this is the fundamental difference. A lot of the people who made the comments, I don't think that they were innately wrong in the way they were thinking about it, but Verachain at the end of the day is a blockchain rather than like just a DeFi protocol. So there are very different things to take into consideration, because that's where I think the meaning of what the fuck value means makes different sense to different people. But yeah, I actually like the 1.1. Like, I think it makes perfect sense for longevity for blockchain. All the other stuff like the V33, a bunch of burn, that kind of stuff, like, I don't know, I don't think it's proper for a blockchain. But just like you said, like, obviously an elaborated way makes way more sense to explore. Otherwise it's like kind of impossible.
Yeah, or like if I can just add one more thing, I don't really want to hijack this stream, but like coming into Verachain, right? Like one of the reasons I joined was that like the vision of it was that this chain part isn't actually like the most important part. How do I say? The core thesis and experiment of Verachain is that we can incentivize people to do cool things and build cool things. Yeah, I think that boils it down nicely. And so proof of liquidity is just saying the chain is willing to subsidize people who are doing cool things, right? We will help you with incentivizing liquidity, but we'll also help you with incentivizing user behavior of onboarding users. Like whichever step in your app or product that has a little hurdle, like let's slap some incentives on top and get people to do that, right? And so far, like most of the current applications are DeFi based, if not like DeFi adjacent, right? Like NFTs with some like DeFi mechanisms or tokenomic games, things like that. And I think that's because like all the developers so far in the space have been blockchain app devs or DeFi app devs, as you expect, right? But once we break out to getting some of the more like traditional like Web2 devs or indie devs, like those folks, like they're not here for the tokenomics games necessarily. Like their products don't necessarily like have tokens, but they will still want incentives. And where proof of liquidity comes in is like, wherever those apps, like if you imagine like a simple like Flappy Bird game, like that type of thing, right? Maybe you can pay like 99 cents to get like 10 more retries when you die in the game, something like that, right? When they monetize on the users, they can take the fees they charge and then plug it back as like the bribes on Verachain so that the end users get more BGT rewards at the end, right? And we have a flywheel for an app, very basic app that doesn't have a token of its own. And again, like I'm mentioning like token incentives a lot because like this is what I'm working on here. So like this part's the most interesting to me. But yeah, like a kind of like a lot of the apps in the space have been stuck that they can't develop a flywheel without a token. That's why so many people drop tokens prematurely and see them go to zero. And what I would want, a personal goal would be like, seeing lots of projects thrive on Berachain, pre-token, because they're able to use like proof of liquidity to improve like their unit economics, to have this little flywheel. And once they get to a point where like they have traction, they have revenue numbers, or they have like real growth or a moat or something like that, then they will be in a much better spot to drop a token. Or again, like if they're going for a raise, like they will be in a much stronger position to raise a more, I guess, like valuable round, I guess. Yeah.
Karn, I think we've seen that, as you mentioned, using a token with a couple applications already, right? With like SXBet and kind of like they're doing, right, incenting, activity on their platform. And I think Load is doing something similar, right? Incentive. It's just a kind of a marker as the activity that you're doing. And as such, you're able to earn BGT. I think they're just kind of the first, but many more are coming, right? I think as you read through the approvals, there's a lot of this stuff kind of coming down the pipe. More and more, I think it's more come. Obviously, it entices others that are watching outside of the Bera eco and kind of see, oh, wait a minute, I can do that over there. Wait a minute, I can do that over there. And I think that once that ball starts rolling down the hill, that's when we're really going to start to see some exciting stuff.
Yeah, and even now, right? There are some like several different really exciting directions. I would say like on like the IRL side, right? Like Puffpaw is really interesting, right? It's a vape that's actually paying you once you start reducing your dependency on nicotine. Like I think that's like a wonderful goal for people, right? While still letting you sort of like act as a bit of a hipster, if you will. But yeah, another really cool one is Eden, which is a SexFi product. And you can imagine, the things you want to reward there, right? They're a little off topic, but back to like more serious.
they have a really interesting campaign going on right now.
Yes.
Yes.
It's very
not
subtle.
Not that I'm participating.
Yes.
Yes.
Play to
Not
earn.
that I'm participating.
I'm again not invited. Okay.
Yeah. But even on the DeFi side, we're seeing more apps do more creative things. Like it all comes back to like, what is the action that's actually required for growth, right? Like right now we see DEXs incentivizing for TVL, which is fine. But a lot of DEXs are saying, oh, okay, now we have like a few tens of millions in TVL, but nobody's trading through them. So maybe optimizing for TVL is wrong. Like it's not doing anything. It's not actually generating fees. So they're thinking about, okay, maybe the traders are the bottleneck now. So let's put some trading competition type of things so that people are coming in and say, oh, there's like, a bunch of BGT in a pod. I will trade and rack up some volume. And if I get a high enough volume, I get to, win money from the pod, right? Either as a rebate or could be, helping you win. I was actually proposing some really terrible ideas to folks. And if you talk to me a lot, you know that I have a bunch of terrible ideas. I was telling the DEXs, okay, what if rewarding the people who do the most volume? What if we reward the people who lose the most money, right? We track people's maybe...
Oh, I want that.
Yeah, total losses, biggest losers. We can reward those people. We can track people's peak unrealized net worth, right? So like we can track how much you fumbled, and you have to fumble it to earn a score. If you sold, it doesn't count as a fumble, right? So we can reward the biggest round trippers. That one I'm calling air miles because, it you had to fly up and down. Anyway, terrible joke. But yeah, like you can see, right? Like by some of the smiles I'm seeing and snickers, like these would make the apps a lot more fun and engaging because it's actually getting closer to what matters to these apps. Like again, like for DEXs, like it is not TVL that matters. It is like activity, right? You want people to be active. So we're seeing, especially perp DEXs, several perp DEXs already have competition modes. They use their BGT to incentivize traders. And every week they check how much volume you're doing or how much fees you paid. And that's corresponding to your earnings. But I think like, yeah, with even the recent Laudio things, like people are finding that, oh, for a lot of crypto apps, like distribution is another major bottleneck or activity that's lacking. So why don't we put incentives on it? And it works remarkably well, right? So TLDR, lots of people are asking the right questions now on Berachain, especially because they see that, oh, we have incentives that we can allocate. So, what is it that we should incentivize, right? And we're also going to see a lot of failed experiments. We're going to see people incentivizing all sorts of terrible ideas, and that's okay, right? Because I don't know, we're going to f around and find out.
Yeah. What I think is we have here a friction. So Berachain for a lot of the folks are too complicated. This proof of liquidity needs to be education done. But on the other side, I think if someone can build an app which is I take for example Pendle or EtherFi, where you deposit funds and you don't know what's happening in the background and how is gonna used, how is the yield, where is the yield coming from. But if you have an app which does the work for you and uses proof of liquidity to generate yields or using funds, then for the end user, it doesn't matter what's happening in the background. He doesn't need to know how proof of liquidity works. I think that could be also a way which could let Berachain thrive. But a lot of possibilities here.
That is honestly what I think the future of Berachain will be. Like the POL.
It's one app
is
and yeah.
But like everybody that does like actual businesses and stuff that have revenue, they will be able to do well with POL because they just have to bring in the users to do their thing, whatever it is that they're trying to incentivize. And then POL is running as stealth tech.
Yeah, and I think some projects already find it out. So where I was a bit surprised that Cattle Finance, those with the Rolexes, were coming to Berachain, and yeah, I was surprised, but yeah, they will cook. Yeah, anything else?
Yeah, do we have any questions from the audience for Carney? Other than
well, we could go on and on forever about POL, but isn't this a Mibera stream? You tell me.
Yeah.
Has the party changed? Has the party changed?
Eventually we're gonna have to talk about the Mibera, all the other DeFi stuff that is attached to it. So I think this is a really great way to hijack Carney and ask him questions.
Well, I'm going to dive in. I got a couple actually. Carney, I know you mentioned that the tax would be potentially used on the Bera Honey for chain liquidity. Is it unique to Bera Honey, or was it also going to go to the majors like BTC, Wrap BTC, and ETH?
Yeah, the core idea is we start with Bera to Honey because those two are actually like native tokens to the chain, right? So it makes sense, and also it's the main liquidity pool for people getting in and out of Bera from a stablecoin, right? And Honey is liquid. It's a wrapper around USDC and PayPal USD, but it's also just liquid against other stablecoins in general. So like that was the main thinking. So that between Bera and some stable, so we picked the native stable. And if that gets to a big enough point, right? Like I think the next most uncontested pick would be Bera to Wrapped Bitcoin, because Bitcoin is the strongest asset in this space, and by pairing against a strong asset, you kind of create that little bit of a drag effect, right? Where if Bitcoin price keeps climbing up, whatever's paired against Bitcoin also gets dragged up, right? You see the opposite effect when people pair their tokens against a token that's going down a lot. I won't mention which, but it's essentially the opposite effect. Strong liquidity pairings are very effective at helping price go in one direction or the other. Yeah. But we can't go like all like Mibera against Bitcoin, because Bitcoin does also have 50% drawdowns, right? And we don't want the Bitcoin cycle to overly affect how Mibera would do.
Yeah, that's exactly what one would be concerned with. The in looking at some of the other suggestions that were on the forum, a couple stuck out, and was wondering if some are, being more thought of or more considered than others. That the two that kind of jumped out to me was the one around the honey that we get when we delegate. We get a small portion of honey that comes from the fees, is potentially that just being used by the organization instead of that going to the users. And then the second one was potentially increasing the gas, as transacting on Berachain is pretty much free. It's so cheap, and we love it. But are there either of those considered?
I would say I think the gas one is kind of being worked on right now. I think one of the people from the core dev team released like BRIPs today, right? Like Mibera something improvement proposals. And the TLDR of that one is basically we're upgrading the client for Berachain. And one of the core reasons was that the current EVM identical setup is optimized for something like Ethereum that has longer block times. And because Mibera block times are 6 times faster, right? 2 seconds is Ethereum's 12 seconds. It's led to some weird behavior with the gas pricing. A lot of people, and especially projects that rely on consistent transactions getting through, are being stuck in the mempool or getting dropped, or I don't know where things are happening. So again, we're making slight modifications to the client so that the gas fees are a little less borked. I think as a part of that, it makes updating the gas fees a lot easier, because previously we can't actually raise it because it's following exactly the Ethereum specs, and the Ethereum specs says that's outside your control, it's controlled by EIP 1559. So with this change, I think the gas fee control is much more on the table. It will be very, very, very straightforward to be modified. As to how much it should be, I think that still has to be figured out. My personal take is that I would want the chain to be, call it free from a UX perspective. Users paying gas just sucks. Gas is still necessary for Sybil protection and bot spam filtering. That's required. But how I was thinking about it, and this was something I was pitching to a bunch of teams, especially those with custom wallet plugins, is at the current gas fees, if you just had the users take 1 Mibera into your wallet, and let's say you lend it out right on Dolomite or Euler, you would get close to 20-30% of yield over a year, right? So 1 Mibera would produce 0.3 Mibera over a year. A 0.3 Mibera covers you, I think, 10 transactions a day for 365 days and then some, right? So essentially, if you just ask the user to load up their wallets with 1 Mibera once, and then you stake it, or not stake it, you lend it out for yield, you have enough yield to cover the user's gas essentially forever. Very few users that I know are making 10 transactions a day, 365 days a year, right? That's considered the top 0.01% of all power users. So where I'm going with that is the actual cost of doing something like this would be extremely trivial. Essentially you ask the users to pay $2 to sign up and get free gas forever, right? But if somebody builds an application that scales to, call it 10 million users, well, great. That's 10 million Mibera tokens permanently removed from circulation in these wallets. That's sort of the direction I would want it to go, more than just hey, why don't we raise gas fees to a flat like 1 cent, right? And on the other hand, right, making gas fees more expensive, like I get the idea, but blockchains also compete on their block space. We want to offer cheap and fast blocks, right? The minute where we raise it to around a tenth of a penny up to a penny, like we are no longer the cheapest chain, right? Like right now we're cheaper than Solana, if a lot of people didn't know. And I mean, like in general, Solana has its own pricing where, you know, if you interact with popular apps, you pay more. If you interact with like not popular apps, you pay less. But anyway, like if you're trying to trade meme coins there, oh, you're paying like more than a few cents very often, right? So yeah, like the other competitors that were, I say competitors like loosely, like, you know, your base, Arbitrum, Solanas, like if your gas fee is on the order of a cent than them, like then you can't really say that you're consistently cheaper than them. And I don't think like making block space that expensive, like artificially, helps anyone. Like, if anything, that will probably just deter apps from building here, and it will deter users from wanting to use apps here. So yeah, I would say like raising gas fees maybe by a from like a thousandth of a cent to 100th of a cent. That might not, you know, hurt the users. Like nobody actually cares. But once you get into the tenth of a cent territory, then this is where current chains are competing at, and we probably want to stay below it. So sorry, that was a bit of a ramble, but yeah, I see the points of this. It's probably something we'll play with, but not to the degree a lot of people were arguing for. Like, why don't we just set it to, you know, 1 cent per transaction?
Good stuff, man. Good stuff. Thank you for the peek behind the curtain.
Of course. I realized you had another question about honey, but I'm kind of forgetting what it was about. Could you repeat it?
It was when you boost, right, as a booster, when you boost your BGT to a validator, you get honey rewards, right? A small portion.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and there was some talk of, okay, well, potentially instead of us as users getting that honey reward, and we appreciate it. Obviously, it's a pretty modest amount. That if the foundation were to just take that, it would be a healthy chunk, and you could potentially use that for some of the exciting stuff.
Yes. And if I understand correctly, like that honey reward is actually coming from like the honey protocol itself, right? Like the honey stablecoin is a protocol. It's a set of smart contracts. It's like a CDP stablecoin, right? But its only collateral right now are PayPal USD and USDC. And this collects money when people, I think, unwrap from honey. So I think that's where the honey rewards are coming from. And my thoughts on this is that, like, just practically, the amount is very tiny right now. And like whether it goes to the team to run some initiatives or it goes to the users, it doesn't make a terribly big difference. Honey would have to be on the scale of, call it like $1 billion to $10 billion to make that amount of rewards kind of interesting and meaningful to work with. But when I say interesting, it's still not enough to do something like, you know, buy back bearer tokens. Like it would not be the right order of magnitude. So I would say, like, yeah, it's a good gesture, but at this stage, honey isn't big enough to make a meaningful difference. So we should give it to BGT holders for now. If we find other ways, and I think there will be, to incentivize honey usage on Bera, that could be a improvement of what we should spend on, right? Like right now, a bunch of like DEX pairings or lending protocols do have honey integrated, and they're not receiving any like special privileges. So as you might expect from like native tokens of the chain, like we're not, you know, strictly directing like BGT, like we're not earmarking BGT emissions to go to pools with honey or things like that. So maybe honey can use its own fees to incentivize its own integrations. That would be like a pretty aligned and like growth oriented way of doing it.
That helps. I didn't realize that it was again a smaller amount.
Yep. Any other questions?
Oh, I actually have a question. I figured I think I saw your account on Twitter. Why do you use those images on your Twitter so much?
I can
You
answer
know,
that.
I mean,
yeah.
I get the.
So, Anya, basically, what I figured out is that Carney is like a genius. So he basically
Maybe he
figured
can
out.
answer alien.
No. Because I actually said this, and so the thing is, if you read all of Carney's tweets, right, they're all actually quite serious, like half, kind of not, but like mostly quite serious. But if he pairs it with big booba anime girl, then he will get the engagement without getting in trouble or banned. So that's the genius. Like, he, in the whole bear market, every fucking day, he's just posting bottoms.
Bottoms.
Okay.
He's doing really well also on Kaito and Loud also. So yeah, people
Carney,
like
you don't
that.
know, but we had a phase when we were miladies on Berry Chain, and so I was posting a lot of penis on timeline, and I got shadow banned for manipulating the masses on Twitter.
Yes. Elon really doesn't like people who goes against the rules. No, but it is a bit of an engagement hack and also a fun thing, right? Way back
Big
when,
booba.
yeah, when I got started, like if you post like serious content all the time, like, you know, like
Nobody cares.
exactly, like you get like maybe 5 people who care, and maybe those people become really good friends of yours that you bounce serious ideas around with. And like I do have some of those friends. Like I have my co-author on some of my mirror articles. Link you can find in my bio. That's the one thing I will show. Where like we connected over discussing the ideas, and like we write some research articles together, and that is fun. But again, like for a space that rewards attention, and I don't mean that in like a bad way, right? Like the fact that I'm at Berachain now and previously I was at Polygon, the only reason why I qualify for these things is that I have a track record and a following, right? Like without this, like I don't have a background or education in finance or crypto or tech. I don't have work experience, like formal like employment in the space. So like prior to Polygon, so I only got picked up because people are like, oh, I'm fairly sure this person is not a North Korean hacker because they've been around and, you know, posting things that like North Korea would never allow you to post, right? And also talking about things like observing things. So I was like, okay, we're fairly sure this is a real person who's observing things, who has like independent thought. So, you know, let's take the chance and at least like take a call with this person, right? Take the person for an interview, something like that. So I would say like I'm kind of grateful this worked out in my favor. I would say again, like I don't do it for the sake of like doing a gimmick as well. Like it is fun, right? Like especially during like bear markets, like everyone's so down and depressed. Like you want to post something like that's entertaining, that's fun, like that gets, you know, people excited, you know, pun intended. And yeah, like this is it, right? Like maybe some people wish like this wasn't the case, like but it is fact that like most of the demographic of people in like these early tech trenches are like young males. And like what do young males like more than other things? Like, I mean, I'll leave it to you. Like definitely like my answer is not the only answer. Like I'm pretty sure like, you know, drugs and booze and gambling are other things, but our space is already full of gambling, so I decided to just pick something else. Yeah.
Well, you've entered a level of transparency that borders on stupidity, but I'm with it.
I like
Well,
that
thanks
too.
for the answer. Actually, very educational, by the way. Because I'm kind of struggling with it. I'm just starting to be like, I don't know, present on timeline, and I'm like, I went through the phase when I was like meeting cool folks, and I was like, wow, my friends. But now, no, it's a crisis for me.
Yeah.
So thanks for this.
Yeah.
I'm gonna think about it.
For sure. And like I would say like some other people, right? Their strategies which I don't like, but they are very effective. It's like picking fights with other folks, right? You often see like founders fighting over like the most stupid things, but it works, right? Like they get a ton of engagement. People are betting on it, right? You also have people creating FUD, right? Like FUD or FUD baiting is very effective, right? Anytime you point out something wrong with Hyperliquid, right? 1,000
Yeah.
different .hls come in the comments and start saying that's not true. Speaking from personal experience, and yeah, like.
Is my strategy wrong? Because I'm just making fun of Arbitrum. Like,
Oh my god.
there are no .arbs out there. That's the problem. Yeah, you need to find a place where the .somethings will come at you. Nobody's defending Arbitrum like that these days. So unfortunately, you need to fight something else.
I heard the Valence folks are crazy.
You're going to need to reframe your perspective, it looks like.
So basically, one of my friends, Andrew Saunders, he used to be like the CMO of Arbitrum and Off-Chain Labs, and then basically what happened was that he left to go to this. I don't actually know what the fuck they do. It's called Scale Network, and then Arbitrum became Hyperliquid Bridge, and that's like the only fucking thing that, like, the majority of what they do now. So the thing is, I don't know how to not FUD it, right? Like you lost your CMO, and then like what is going on? Like, Arbitrum has been a concept since 2014, even before Ethereum was live, and like I don't know what and then like they only started like really started like thinking about the scalability and stuff of Ethereum in 2017. So throughout all these years, it's like, okay, so currently the founders of Arbitrum are like, oh yeah, it's because we have liquidity. That's why Hyperliquid like kind of chooses us. And I'm just like, I don't know. It's so weird. And then on top of that, it happened at a time where like all these other L2s are popping up, right? So yeah.
Hey, they got GMX over there, right? And how about a little loyalty? Without them, we would have not had all of our Bera NFTs on testnet.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, we need to give credit where credit's due now.
Yeah.
As exit liquidity mix, you can help us. For all of us.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, anything else? Some questions?
We should sell Mibera to Carney.
Oh,
I should get one for free, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna give him one. I just have to wait until like to find like a properly fucked up one.
Give him Mibera on Arbitrum.
No, with Polygon. Do we have one with Polygon?
Oh.
Well, probably they're gonna do NFTs on Katana, I think.
Katana.
What's going on with the Katana thing? What is it?
It's like
Carney, you were around for
like
that.
Polygon, but not really. It's more like what you said, like park your liquidity for 9 months.
Yeah. I actually have color on this because I helped work on it. So Katana is loosely based on the idea that Jack was already working on, and Jack was head of DeFi at Polygon before he was head of DeFi here. The concept is called the sync. We're basically trying to design a chain that is actually optimized for DeFi, right? Like not general purpose, like DeFi only, right? Like we don't care about consumer NFTs, all that, just DeFi, right? And the several of the core points was that like we wanted all the assets to be productive. So anything that's bridged into the chain should be earning yield under the hood. So whether you're holding ETH on the chain, it should be staked ETH under the hood. Like Blast, right? Blast doesn't let you have normal ETH or normal USD under the hood. It is stable coins like SDI earning yield. ETH is STETH earning yield. But Katana extends that to all other assets. Almost everything you can lend out for yield, right? So lending is the most basic one. And most stable coins come with T-bill backed yields or something of the sort. So that's one of the core premises. One of the other unique features was that we would only incentivize activity on the chain, right? So like for people who are just holding a balance in their wallets, they actually don't earn any yield at all. Like their assets are producing yield under the hood, but they're not going to get it, right? Where's that yield going? That yield is only going into the DEXs, the lending protocols, the perp DEXs, whatever, like things that the actual financial platforms. So you, as a user on the chain, have to take your assets and park them on the DEX, park them on the lending protocol, LP in the vault on the perp DEX, whatever. You have to do these things. And then you get boosted yields, right? Everyone who's not doing anything, they're giving up their yields to people who are doing things on the chain. So TLDR is like those are sort of like the core principles behind the design of the chain. Of course, like it wasn't built by Jack and I alone. Like was a huge amount of resources from like the Polygon side. But yeah, like if you buy into that like philosophy and vision, like Katana is, I think, like a very modern attempt at doing all the right things, right? Good overlaps with Berachain in terms of if you're asking the questions like, what are the actual things that are good for your application, or in this case, for the chain? Katana has incentives in the right place. Yeah.
Wow. And what about the apps on chain? It's also, could they get like how to say, like miss the yield if they not accumulating the assets or something, if they're not making it work?
Yeah, so Katana's launch will be very curated. I think it's a good way to put it. They're working with one DEX, one lending platform, one platform, one launchpad, right? Like hand-picked teams who like are fully bought in to the plan, right? So like and all the yield stuff will be hooked in properly on day one. At least that's the hope, right? So then like we don't get 10 different DEXs competing for the same liquidity. We don't get 10 lending platforms that fragments liquidity. Like essentially like everything is very curated, and consolidated. And a lot of these apps will have like integrations with each other. So things should work relatively cohesively. And again, like the experiment there is like we've never seen an ecosystem come together like this before. Typically, when people try to like vertically integrate like this, they look more like Jupiter, right? Where it's the one team that's building out the aggregator, then the DEX, then the launchpad, then now the lending platform. Yeah, here we still have like, I'd say half a dozen teams that are trying to work together to make it happen. So quite a coordination feat. Yeah.
Carney, do you see any like new vertical things that's like that you're, coming into contact with that you find really interesting? That's not, based off of the last 12 months' fad?
Good question. I don't know if I have like great answers for this. Like I have like little things I'm excited about. I mentioned Aceto earlier, and there I'm excited because it's like an evolution of a few different Ponzus that came before it, like Baseline and Olympus, which I think are good Ponzus in their own right. But this sort of like takes it the next step further, and I'm always interested in these type of experiments. I think the Laudio one is a really interesting experiment because, I don't think how many people realize that like funding for like decentralized yapping has such a outsized impact on taking over the timeline, essentially, right? Like most people wrote it off and then they hated it because of how effective it was, right? And so like there are lots of more interesting experiments to go in that regards. Maybe not incentivizing like direct yapping because there are a lot of like uninlined yappers out there, but more like combining your yapping activity with your on-chain activity to come up with like a composite score, and rewarding people with high composite scores I think is very, very interesting. And yeah, I think another set that maybe kind of boring is the merge of TradFi and crypto. On one hand, you have the Robinhood people trying to deploy everything, and now with Trump as well, right? Making Trump Bitcoin ETF, but also the Trump wallet. So like those are TradFi people coming, but we also have DeFi people doing more TradFi things. And I think a good example of this is like there's a perp dex on Mibera called Mad Honey. It's a white label of D8X, which is a team I've known from my Polygon days. And they're very similar to Gains Trade if you've used Gains. TLDR is like these perp dexes, like because they're just synthetic markets, you can put in a price feed for anything. It can be a stock, a crypto, a commodity. It could be the price of like coffee beans or whatever, right? And people can trade it. And so like on these perp dexes, like we can list all the markets in the world, right? And it doesn't even have to be price. If you wanted to, you can put the current audience number on this stream as a feed, and people can trade perps, right? On how many audience members there are. It might not make sense, but where I'm going with this is like,
dude, it makes total sense. Like we're such degens.
Yeah,
it's like that's exactly what this is about now. We just like trade everything.
Yeah, and we're at the point where like one, we as in like crypto in general have more interesting markets than the TradFi folks, right? Because the TradFi folks have to jump through 1,000 hoops to get one quote unquote security or non-security listed, whereas like we create tokens by the tens of thousands, right? Or we create speculation markets infinitely, right? Like people are betting on the number of views on tweets, right? Like, investing in this tweet at like, 10 likes, right? Like there are actual applications that let us bet on. So like we have like really cool betting markets. And this is just a matter of like, if we have both the interesting things to bet on and better rails. And I think, like lots of people have said like perp dexes are better than, or they're more friendly to use than like options, right? As a trading instrument. Like if we build out like the good trading instruments as well, then, like this whole thing will eat TradFi, right? And maybe the winners aren't around today, but I think something that looks like a perp dex that can trade anything in the world is going to beat your traditional like NASDAQ exchange or, NYSE exchange.
What do you think of the hyperliquid model from side of the tokenomics and these buybacks and staking, BNB kind of model like Kaito's doing that?
I mean, like I think everyone understands like the goods of hyperliquid, right? Like they are the best perp dex out there, as evident by their volume fees and number of fans, and they print a lot of fees, which they use to make the token go up, which everyone there loves. But there are also bads of it, right? Like when people manipulate the markets, like Jelly, like was again, like I'm not complaining because I'm in HLP, but should they really have refunded HLP? Like, are they going to refund every single, loss to various people on there? Like, I don't know the right answers to that, but it feels like those decisions were made relatively unilaterally on their platform. It's also worth noting that their bridge is a 3 out of 4 multisig. It may not be 4 people's like hot wallets. It might be more secure than that, but you should also note, that's the number of machines, if you will, that needs to be compromised before North Korea can take your money. And yeah, I would say like with the resources of someone like a Binance or a NASDAQ, if they really wanted to come after, or a Robinhood or a Coinbase, if they really wanted to come on chain and compete, like it's very possible that they will have something of equal or better quality than hyperliquid, right? I think, again, like without predicting the future, like if we look to the past, every year in the past, there has been a winning perp dex and it's never the same one, right? There was a time when DYDX was leading and everyone said that will win forever. There was a time where Gains was winning and people said that was going to win forever. There was a time where GMX was winning and people say that's going to be forever. And now Hyperliquid is here and people are saying it's going to win forever, right? Maybe it will, but I'm more, what is it? You don't want to bet against the future and the ingenuity of the people of the future. It's either that Hyperliquid is the best thing, final answer forever, or at some point somebody else smarter, more resourced will come along and figure out some trick to do it better. Like what is more likely? Yeah.
What I
Okay.
like about there actually, and the launch from February till now is that it's such a public learning experience, and everyone in the space learned so much from this experiment actually on a better wallet, but still kind of progressing the whole thing. I think it's really cool.
Yeah. What I like is that the founders are here. So Smokey, you see actively on the timeline, and they're not hiding. They're not ignoring. So they're showing up, and they are aware of the struggles, and they are here to present themselves and to present themselves in front of the community and try to fix things. And that's I think that's the most important thing.
Yeah, I gotta say, Smokey's one of the most engaged founders I've met in the space, right? He's not actively out there picking fights, but he is in all the conversations. I'm surprised by how quickly, when I go send him a tweet, it's like, you should read this. He's already there. He's already read it. He's already commented, right? So he doesn't let anything really slip. And also to say, he doesn't spend all his time posting, right? He is in all the meetings. He's kept up with all the departments. He holds monthly one-on-ones with everyone on the team, and we have a lot of team members now. So again, that's a lot of routine, even admin calls that he has to do, in addition to actual BD meetings with various folks. So it's I think he's basically given up his life to do this, which for better or for worse is kind of needed and required to succeed in the space. And yeah, I see him doing it, and I'm grateful for that, because I've also had a few years of experience in the space, and not every team works like this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So credits to Smokey and to the whole Better Chain team. Yeah. Okay. Anything else? We touched on a lot of things here.
I mean, I can kidnap him. I don't know, 30 days from now, and then we just do this. So it's never gonna be last time to ask Carney questions, but maybe everyone can kind of think about the changes and what's going on, or what kind of new thing that they thought is cool. Get in contact with Carney about it. And yeah, it's a pleasure to have you here with us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I mean, even
definitely.
better, treat Eileen as my unofficial secretary. Forward all questions to
Fuck
her.
you.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
man.
Carney, thanks for being here. It was a nice pleasure,
Of course.
surprisingly, but it was great to have you here. And yeah, I think I will wrap it up here. So thank you for everyone for being here. This was kind of mixed space. First Mibera, then generally about Mibera chain. So thanks for being here. Thanks for showing up. As I said in the introduction, it's not normal to have such a community here on Berachain. So keep it up. Keep up the vibes, and yeah, we will be back next week and start the reveal process of Miberas. So thank you. Have a nice one, and take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone. Miladies on
Miladies
Berachain.
on
Milady.
Berachain.
Bye.
Hello.
So let's have some music. Bye-bye.
This is the revolution. 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 Network, spirituality, artificial duality. Network, spirituality, artificial duality. Ready for the fight. Together we rise. Ready for the fight.